Just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday. Today's topic is going to be a week of graveyard shifts. This is episode 115. Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Apologies about my absence. So the inspiration for this week's Real Talk Tuesday topic comes from the way this last week has gone. So I apologize. I know that I've had bonus episodes going on Fridays whenever I'm not, due to not having a moment to actually get the next part of that last story written. It is coming. It is going to happen. So the Storytime Friday episodes are still going to stay around. It's just a matter of, with my job, out here running the FedEx loads, really depends on time, and lately, sorry, I said a little bit of a yawn, but lately, I've had, my schedule's kind of been coming in late, 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and finishing up like 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Getting home, going to bed, getting up like 7 or 8, basically hanging out for an hour, getting ready to come back into work. So I really haven't, what kind of sucks about that is I really haven't had a whole lot of time hanging out with the fam during the week, because basically, they're up doing whatever during the day, and I'm passed out upstairs. And then I'm up for an hour or so, and then I head off to work, so. But I mean, I'll admit, it's like we're gonna keep leaning into the gratitude lessons I was doing the last time I talked to you guys. So I'm gonna say that even with my current schedule, even with the hours that I've been working, I am grateful that I've been working every day, that I've been getting the miles and keeping the paycheck consistent, all that stuff. So I'm grateful for that. I just wish that the time wasn't basically a graveyard shift. Because when I came on with my current company, I did tell my boss, I said, I don't mind working late, like 3, 4, 5, hell, even getting home at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning. You can still go to bed, sleep 8 hours, get up by like 2. It's not that bad. You still have a good portion of your day left. But I said, but I do not want to work all night. But lately, that seems to be what I'm doing. So it's like the load that I was doing for a while, the one going to Illinois and back. That one, from what I'm being told, which again, I've expressed in the past, that I don't know if there's things that there's been moments throughout my career in this company where I've been told certain things by my boss and I've questioned it. you know, so I don't know. And it's not, you know, you shouldn't have to question whether or not you're being told the truth, especially by those that you work for. But I've been told certain things, and I've heard other things from other people. So it's like being told that, oh, you're like the Farina load doesn't, it runs in the morning, and then a couple, like 2 or 3 months later, I was finding out that, oh no, we've been meeting with, you know, with you know, such and such guy. I'm trying not to use names, but we've been meeting with such and such guy, you know, like, and we meet up at like 7 o'clock at night. Like, he leaves between 2 and 3, and I'm like, well, I mean, if, you know, if that's true, I was like, I could have been running that load and just leaving earlier, you know, instead of leaving at 5. Like, I was told for the first year and a half that I was doing the load, that's basically like, oh, you gotta be out the game at 5. That's the earliest you can leave. Or, you know, 4:30 to 5. Like, all right, cool. So I'd get to the hub by 4:30, and I'd be rolling out by 4:45, and I'd get down there by like 8:30. You know, like between 8:30 and 9, we'd be literally rolling out of the truck stop at 9 o'clock. Like, I'd be heading back here, and they'd be heading back to Minnesota. But I would be getting told one thing by my boss, and then the team from Minnesota would be telling me something else. And so I'm like, huh, okay. And, you know, the way I look at it as far as that goes, like, the team, they wouldn't have any, unless they're being instructed to, which I doubt they would be, but I don't think they would have any reason to be basically telling me something else, like something that's not true. You know, the only thing that went through my head is, well, unless they're meeting with, you know, my boss's assistant, because for whatever reason he was running the load for a while, probably still is, I don't know. But unless they were told, yeah, don't tell Chris, like, the truth, like, don't tell him that you're meeting up with me, just, you know, tell him that you've seen other people, or I don't know why that would happen, and maybe that didn't happen, but, you know, so yeah, so pretty much the last at least 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I've been coming in 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and basically I think I've gotten to bed as late as 12 o'clock, you know, noon, and got up about 7 or 8 and hung out for an hour and basically got ready to go to work, you know. So it's like, by the time I go to bed, I'm freaking exhausted, because I don't like working straight into the morning, you know. Like, if I could get done by 6, be to bed by 7, okay, you know, it's still pretty late. I'd rather get done earlier, get to bed earlier, but I can deal with that, you know. But so it's made trying to get things done during the week a little complicated, and then basically I have my 2 days off, and it's kind of like more like 1.5 days off, because I've had some of my Sundays where I'm off Sunday, Monday, and I would get back home on Sunday like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I would basically crash until, I think one Sunday I tried to get up like, I figured, I'm going to catch a 5-hour nap, and basically I hit snooze, and next thing I realized it was almost 9 o'clock, and I was like, oh shit, you know. So I had to get up out of bed and get up for the night, you know. And I still had stuff from the previous week, because I worked a 6-day work week the previous week. Kind of got a last minute notice one week, which I believe that was before the last Real Talk Tuesday, so I think I might have told you guys about that one. Possible. I might not have, I don't know. Because I know I missed I missed last week, mainly because usually what I try to do, because I don't know how, like, motivated and how much, like, you know, if I'm gonna have the energy to do anything really on my days off, because that really depends on how my work week goes. So if I get to my days off and it's been one hell of a work week, then usually I really don't want to do anything. I just want to, like, hang around, like, put on whatever Netflix series I'm working on, enjoy my adult beverages, and literally try to de-stress through the week. And it's, you know, so it's like, don't get me wrong, like, the job itself is good. I don't mind. It's the work itself is not bad. It's the work hours. It's the, you know, like, ooh, shit. Ooh, sorry about that. I'm sure you guys can tell I am freaking exhausted. Like, it's one of those things. It's like, wow. I need a vacation. Like a full. I need to do another vacation like what we did when back in October, I think it was, when I took the fam up to Kansas. Sorry, just grabbing a little bit of a drink of some water here. For those of you out there, if you don't like, if you're unaware, like when you're, especially when you're driving or when you're tired in general, sometimes hydrating helps kind of re-energize you a little bit. Like drinking water or whatever, because if you're dehydrated, it just makes it easy to kind of be a little bit drowsy, a little bit like zone out a little bit, So, but so yeah, basically, I normally do the Tuesdays, Real Talk Tuesday episode. I try to record it by the end of the previous week, because I usually try to do it when I'm out here, because I know that, alright, it's easier for me to throw on the headset and open up my recording app and hit record and go ahead and get it recorded, and then when I'm home for Tuesday, all I have to do is get it edited, get, like the background music, the sound effects, whatever, get everything sounding good, and then basically go ahead and go on my hosting platform and get it up, uploaded. And so, but that week, I think, now when I'm thinking about it, I don't think I told you guys about the 6-day work week, because I'm pretty sure that was carrying into this past weekend. I think. Might be wrong, but I don't know. Everything kind of blends together for me, because of the way my work week goes. Like some days I'm like, it's today, what day is today? I literally do I call it a 5-day countdown. When I come in on Tuesday, I literally am like, all right, cool. As I'm working Tuesday, I'm like, 4 more days, man, 4 more days. Then Wednesday, I'm like, 3 more days, man, 3 more days. All the way up to like Friday, I'm like, Friday night, I'm like, 1 more day. Looking forward to working Saturday and not having, basically being off for 2 days, But so that week, I was like Sunday morning, I was getting off my I think I wasn't even back to the hub yet at like 9:30. I was 20 minutes away from the hub, and my boss texted me, I'm gonna need you to work tomorrow night, because we're offsetting, or I'm trying to offset just in case we lose, if we don't have, with light freight, just try to offset that to make sure that we at least get you miles or whatever. And I said, but sir, I'm not even back to the hub yet. It's 9:30. I was like, I've got plans tomorrow, I've got appointments with the fam. I was like, I'm probably not going to be getting up until tonight, so I'm really not going to have a day off today. I was like, do I have a choice? Like, can I just say, fuck it, I'll just rather have the day off and relax at home? And he's like, well, crap. He's like, well, I'll see if I have another driver. I said, okay. So I when I got up that night at like 8:30 at night, I still had drinks from the previous, at that point I had, still had a little bit of time before 10 o'clock, because that's when the liquor store closes, so I ran across the street, got my stuff, I planned for 2 nights, for Sunday, Monday, came home, hung out with the fam, enjoyed my drinks, stayed up until 3 or 4 in the morning, like I normally do, because of course working late, and then went to bed, got up at like noon, and I had a text from my boss saying, actually, I'm going to need you to work tonight. I'm like, I was like, what happened to finding another driver new? And he's like, I don't have anybody. Crap. So that week kind of was a little bit different. Like, normally I do, I hit the grocery store, I get meal prep stuff, so I can heat up food when I'm out here. That week, literally, because that was Monday, would normally I'd be off, and I was still tired because of the way Sunday went. I was like, I just hung out and watched whatever shows my wife put on, pretty much. Literally did not even want to leave. I think I left briefly to go grab something, but then otherwise I was like, I don't really feel like going to the store. I don't want to Instacart groceries because it's going to cost more. I was like, So I basically I think I actually ended up doing laundry the next day. So I worked Monday night. I actually did my laundry on Tuesday, which normally I do that before I start my work week. And I worked all the way through Saturday, and then came into this week. And usually on Saturday night when I'm doing my last shift, working into Sunday morning, usually I do what I'm doing right now. I hop on sometimes before the end of the night, get an episode recorded, even though maybe that might change in the near future. Mainly because I'm trying to think outside the box as far as like these Real Talk episodes. Some of the podcasts that I shout out to or that I recommend, which now I'm starting to anything I see or anything that I hear about on other podcasts, like the way they're doing stuff that I like. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. So it's been a while where I've been listening to these podcasts, and if you look at the show notes, because I'm starting to do that, starting on the episode description, I'm starting to put a little more details. I'm starting to put some of the links for some of the things I talk about that you guys can check out. But also listening to the podcast any podcast that I'll recommend, like Crime Junkies. That's what I'm currently binge listening on, which is really awesome, really cool stuff if you're a true crime person. Or that one, and like, what was that like with Scott Johnson? Basically, they've always been. Oh, and Meredith For Real, that's a good one too. But I list those in the show notes, and I kind of got that idea from these other podcasts because that's basically what they do. Like, they have a bunch of information about the episode. Mine's pretty basic because literally just real talk. So it's not a whole lot of information necessarily about the episode because I'm just kind of hanging out with you, But I'm starting to do the actually put notes on the description, so that way you guys have easier access to the links instead of just having to hear them on the podcast episode. But so I changed that up. I've had one episode, the last one I posted, literally had the more descriptive show notes with the links, stuff like that, and links to other podcasts and stuff like that. Try to be supportive, because we're all like all of us out here that are doing podcasts. We all have the same goal to bring you guys good content and to be successful out here. And so one of the things that I'm thinking about doing, and I got to talk to my bro Ricco about it. Again, I list his episode on or his podcast on the show notes as well. Because I'm sure if we got people that were started tuning into his, because he hasn't posted a new one for a minute, but he says he wants to, and he says he's recorded stuff, but he listens to it, and I guess his out sound, so he hasn't done it yet. So anybody who'd be willing to, if you're another podcaster and you come across my show and you're willing to show support to his, go on to my, it's blogdashow.com/Ricco, RICCO. It'll redirect over to his Spotify podcast, or you can look for him. It's like Alienation in the Basement, or you can look up the show notes, because I'll have that listed there, where you can. And I haven't listed with the link I created on my blogdashow.com website. Even I could probably put the Spotify link, but that's a pretty long link. I like to keep it simple, keep a smaller website address for you, But I want to talk to Ricco, and I kind of hope he hears this episode. I don't know. I know he doesn't necessarily tune in every time unless I'm, hey, bro, check out my episode. But he's a busy guy. He has a lot of stuff going on. But I would almost like to, because one of the things I really love, that I've actually grown to really love about like some of the other podcasts I listen to, like What Was That Like, or Meredith For Real, or now Crime Junkies, is that it's not just one person. It's not just the host on the show. It's actually the host talk like with the co-host, like they're talking back and forth about whatever topic, or like in Scott's case on What Was That Like, he has guests on that are talking about something really, really bizarre or unique or whatever situations that have happened, and they're kind of telling the story, and he's asking some questions or whatever. But like with Crime Junkies, Ashley, she's the host. She has her co-host Britt on there, and so Ashley's telling talking about the details of the crime that they're talking about. And Grit, of course, they're just going back and forth, interacting about that current crime that was committed, whether it's murder or disappearance or whatever. Really, I think, in my opinion, I think from all the podcasts that I've tuned into, I actually seem to enjoy those a little bit more because you're getting a little interaction, you know. So, still probably going to keep Storytime Friday episodes, you know. Still going to keep the Storytime Friday episodes the way that I normally would, probably. But I'm looking at how can I make the Real Talk Tuesday episodes even better. It's something funny here in just a second. Hold on, guys. I don't know if you guys heard that in the background, because we have these smart cameras in the truck. They're technically AI cameras, but I believe from what I've heard, I think my boss told somebody that he doesn't have the AI turned on him. But I guess he recently turned on where it checks for your seatbelt. And it's funny because the last couple nights I noticed it randomly. One night I left the hub on my way to Chattanooga a couple nights back, and I got like partway past Murfreesboro. Actually, I got past Murfreesboro. I stopped at a Love's that had a McDonald's, because that's usually my go-to. Like, stop there, grab double quarter pounder with fries, and a good old High C orange. That's my go-to. And I got back on the road and I heard the camera chime. Literally, I'm on the highway and I've got my seatbelt on because, of course, I'm a professional driver. You know, you get all you drivers out there, make sure you wear your seatbelts. You know, make sure you wear your seatbelts. Make sure you have insurance on your cars. You know. But I could go into that. I could make a little episode just about about uninsured motorists and accidents and all that fun stuff because I'm a friend of mine. But I got on the highway, and I heard the camera go, fasten your seatbelt. A couple of seconds later, fasten your seatbelt. And I'm literally like, I kind of look down at my chest, like, I have my seatbelt. And I look back up, and I'm going, I am wearing my seatbelt. Like, I don't know what the hell here. And then, of course, it goes, seatbelt violation. I'm like, what the fuck? So that went on for a little bit, where like every so often. At first, I thought it was chiming some random stuff, because it's quiet, so less if I'm not listening to like the podcast and stuff, then it's fairly quiet in here aside from the sound from outside and stuff. So like with nothing playing over these speakers, I can hear the camera chime at me like. And I'm like, all right, but with the podcast, I'll just hear it chime, and now I know that it's literally only doing the seatbelt thing. I thought, crap, he turned the AI on, but then I think it was yesterday, pretty sure it was last night, Friday night and Saturday morning. I messaged my boss, and I was like, I'm just giving you a heads up. I was like, the last 2 nights, the camera's been chiming at me saying, buckle your seatbelt, and seatbelt violation. I was like, I'm just giving you a heads up. I haven't worn my seatbelt. So he goes, oh yeah, it's not. It's basically like, it's doing that because it's not being able to see your seatbelt. But then I've been checking those every day, and as long as you're in compliance, then it goes away. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I realized anytime it chimes, that's literally all it's. Put on your seatbelt. And I'm like, all right, well, I was like, I just wanted to say something to you because I don't want to get fired and say like, well, you're getting seatbelt violations. I'm like, I'm wearing my seatbelt, so I'm not, and if you look at the camera, you'll see I'm wearing my seatbelt. So, but, getting back on, because I kind of got that little, give a little shout out to Meredith on her Meredith For Real. She talks about rabbit trails and stuff. That's kind of what happens to me sometimes. Get off a little tangent, veer off from where I'm trying to go, and then have to get back and forth. Happens to the best of us. But so one of the things I'm thinking about doing with the show, with the Real Talk Tuesday segment, is I'm thinking about trying to talk to Ricco and try to see if there's a couple of possibilities. Like, Ricco and I have pretty interesting conversations back and forth. Hell, there's things that he and I talk about that normally like neither of us would tell anybody else like certain things that might have happened to us that are embarrassing or whatever. And whether it's me or him telling the story, the one telling the story will even say, I don't even know why I'm telling you this, because normally I wouldn't tell anybody this. And Ricco the other day was telling me something, and then and he said afterwards, he's like, yeah, bro, like you're definitely fam, because like there's no way in hell I would like share that story with most people, like, so but for some reason, man, you and I can talk about that kind of stuff. It's not a big deal. I'm like, yeah. And I had similar stories. I was like, yeah, well, since this happened to me, I know exactly how you feel, because I did this. And he's like, oh, wow, yeah, that sucks. So and part of the inspiration for what I'm about to mention kind of came from another friend of mine who's also an author, working on his couple books he's working on. Good old buddy Dave up there in PA. He, back in the day when I was over the road, out for 2 weeks, home for a weekend. Every so often, if he was working too, because he was working like 4 a.m. So if I started at 4 a.m., like started really early, which sometimes I did just so I could stop early enough to find a parking space. Because the earlier, truckers out there, the earlier we stop, the easier it is to find a place to park. But the later you stop, then you run into that issue where the truck stops are probably going to be mostly full or completely full. That's why I paid for parking a lot when I was over the road, because if I was driving late into the night, I would plan ahead, like, all right, I'm going to be getting roughly to this area, look at my route, and like, oh, cool, there's a pilot. Or there used to only be certain truck stops that would have paid parking. Like, I don't think Pilot and Flying J always had paid parking, but I know like Petro and TAs always did. But now pretty much all of them do. That Pilot has paid parking. There's even Loves that have paid parking now. So it's like, it's pretty awesome. There's a shortage of parking areas for drivers out here. They're even popping up like beside truck stops that have decent parking. They're having little secured lots that have a gate that you can basically, like, it's just literally for truck parking, and it's probably expensive. They're probably charging like $15 a day for it, but it's a place that truckers can technically, they can pay, they can pull in there and have a safe place to park. It's not on an off ramp or whatever. So, but the inspiration comes from my buddy Dave, because back when I was over the road, he would call me some nights, and we'd be chatting, shooting the shit, and some of his coworkers would get on the call too. We'd have a big conference call, and we'd all be going back and forth, like one of his friends, a guy that used to work with him called Irvin, I guess would always refer to me, because I was technically an independent contractor, because I wasn't a company driver. But I guess that meant that I was making a shit ton of money, which I really wasn't. But he would always call me, hey, it's Mr. Moneybags, what do you know? I'm like, I wish I had money bags. But, so, one of the things that Dave mentioned was that especially like when I started my podcasts and told Dave about it, that he was telling me about that he, like, the very first book that he started kind of was like based on true events, kind of, that had to do with something that happened in my past, but he kind of based it off that, changed the names, obviously, which I'm like, that's cool. So he was telling me about that, and then while we're talking about that, he mentioned like the conversations that we used to have with him and all his coworkers. And he was like, man, like, I wish at the time that I had actually found a way to record those conversations, because those conversations would have made amazing episodes for a podcast. I said, yeah, that would have been awesome. I said, I would listen to a podcast like that where you have like a little TED talk or whatever, go back and forth, whatever. But so the inspiration from that is kind of coming back to what I'm thinking about doing is seeing if maybe either I team up with Ricco and basically have me and Ricco both be on the Real Talk Tuesday episodes that would be us going back and forth. Basically, just come up with a random topic between the two of us. Like, so what should we talk about tonight, bro? Or already have something planned that he and I are going to go back and forth on. The other idea is keeping it the way it is right now, but having random Real Talk episodes where I just interview somebody. I just get somebody on the show and we go back and forth about whatever. Let them talk about whatever they want to be on the show to talk about. I'm debating. I'm trying to think because obviously, like, I plan to be around for a long, plan for this show to be around for a long time, and so I'm trying to think of ways to, I'm always trying to think of ways to make it better. But I know right now the issue I'm running into, aside from the creativity issue a little bit some weeks, is the time. Because of my job, it makes things a little difficult when you're so busy during the week, you barely have any time to think, and then you're off your day, you're not even 2 days, 1.5 days, and during that time you don't want to disappear for a few hours to sorry about that. When you're mid-sentence and you're on, it's like almost like, yeah, not at all. So I'm tired, but looks like I probably got like an hour and a half till where I'm going. So I want to throw it out there, guys. Like, if you have any ideas, like if you like how the Real Talk episodes are currently going, where I just come up with a random topic and and we just go with it. And let me know if you like the idea of me having a permanent co-host. Like me and Ricco, whatever. Just shoot the shit, go back and forth about whatever topic we decide to talk about. Some controversial topics, some just general average topics. Then let me know that as well. Or if you like the idea of keeping it the way it is, but doing random interviews, like calling on random guests, have random people on the show. Let me know that as well. And one other thing that I want to, for asking for your advice and stuff, if anybody, especially if you're another podcaster, you come across my show, I'm just putting it out there. I've been at this for probably, I don't know, over a year at least. Probably a year and a couple months. Let's see. So yeah, probably a year and like 3 months by this point. And one of the things I fully intend on is trying to figure out how to monetize, how to build this podcast. I see some of these podcasts that have like I'm like blown away. Like when I connected with, started following Crime Junkie and started listening, and I went ahead and looked them up on Instagram and stuff. They list their different platforms. They have it on their website. They have it on, they list it on the show whenever they're doing their episode. And I was like, looked at their I looked at their Instagram, like 500,000 followers, and I was like, holy crap. I was like, and I think I looked them up on TikTok, and I think the host on Crime Junkie, I think she has over 1 million followers on TikTok. I'm like, but it sounds like their show has been going since like 2018, I think. So it's been going on for like 6 years, so that makes sense. You're not going to be like huge and successful overnight. Obviously, I've only been at it for a year, so I'm just trying to put it out there. If anybody comes across my show, whether you're a podcast host or just somebody listening, but you know what to do. If you know what avenues to go down or who to how does one go about turning their podcast, like getting in front of more people and being able to figure out how to monetize it, like how do you get ads on there, how do you get sponsors? I haven't been able to find crap as far as how to pull any of that off. So anybody with information about that, or if you know, as far as the other things I mentioned, as far as asking for your advice, like any advice for the Real Talk episodes, if you guys like the idea of me bringing on a co-host for those, and having it be me and Ricco going back and forth for those episodes, and then keep Storytime Fridays with stories or whatever, drop me a line at blogishowpodcast@gmail.com. Which, you know, if you go to the website, blogishowpodcast.com, just hit contact on the bottom of the page, of the main site, and you'll be able to contact me directly with that. So, on that note, I just want to say I appreciate it and stuff, you know, because, like, any and all information, especially about how to, like, go about, like, trying to actually, like, I almost want to, like, research it on Google and try to, like, see if there's actually, like, podcast experts out there that can actually help me with that, because, you know, I don't plan to go anywhere, but I have big goals and stuff for what I'm trying to do, like, in all things, like the entrepreneurial stuff, the podcast stuff, and if there's somebody out there that actually could advise on, hey, yeah, you want to do this, you want to reach out to this company, they can help you with that, or you want to, you know, you can get connected with sponsors over here, stuff like that, because, hey, you know, any and all help is welcome. So, but anyway, hold on one sec here. Got a message from the wife real quick here. So of course I hadn't responded because she messaged right after I started this episode. So she's like, "Morning, love." And she's, "Morning, love." And I was like, "Oh, morning." So it's like, sorry, a little busy, you know. Out here rolling. Well, you know, trying to think with the, so yeah, with the topic this week, the work in the graveyard, it's like, it's not hard. It's been, you know, I could do it. It's not a big deal. It's just, I was thinking last night, like, man, that kind of sucks. As far as, like, not being able to, I think I literally got up like 7-ish last night. I hung out with my wife for hour and a half, like half an hour of that. I think she was in the kitchen because, like, my oldest, I guess she was trying to make some tea, some like warm, hot tea, and she was gonna then ice, but she was gonna put honey in it because my grandson came back with the grandparents and was kind of sounded scratchy, so they were gonna get him some tea to help him out. And I guess she boiled water and tried to put it in one of his little plastic cups that you put. They have a lid for it, but it's not a very heavy duty plastic, so the hot water kind of melted the plastic. And I know it's not funny because she was holding onto it, or she had a hand near it when she was trying to pour the water into it, and when it melted, she got hot water in her hand. So she was pretty upset about that. What can I say? My oldest, I love her, but she has my wife's fieriness, and she's not even redhead. But, you know, it's one of those where, like, you know how you gotta know when to take a step back. All right, I mean, leave somebody alone. Well, my oldest daughter, I was thinking about it earlier after this happened earlier, because basically she burned her hand with the water. And I came in there because my wife was trying to say something to her, like, "Here, I'm just trying to help you, like, let me do it." My daughter was leaning over the sink, and I guess she went to close one of the cabinets, and she didn't move her head back, so she literally smacked herself in the face with the door. And then she was all pissed about that too, and, you know, started to run upstairs. My wife's like, "I'm just trying to help you, honey." And I was like, this is why, like, you know, I'll just step back sometimes and I'll just leave her alone, because, you know. But one of the things I was thinking about my daughter earlier is the fact that my daughter is, like, can be very, very, it's weird. She has, like, she's, like, extreme both directions. She's very, very soft-spoken at times, like very sweet, very quiet, you know, almost seems like shy, but then like if something's bothered her, if she's pissed off, very much will let you know. So it's like, when you realize that, oh crap, yeah, she's in a very bad mood, I'm gonna go over here. And I'm her dad. Like I'll be like, hey, so I'll be like, hey, you gonna try to ask, hey, what's up? Like, how are you? Like, what's wrong? What's going on? Kind of get barked at a little bit. Like, this is going on. Like, okay, you know, well, just take a breath. You know, just relax. You know, just things are gonna be okay. She's like, right on. Okay, you know. So my wife earlier got the. She got the tea prepared, you know, got it steeped, you know, with the tea bag, added the honey to it, put ice in it to cool it off, put a nice secure lid on top that keeps it from spilling. We have these plastic containers that are like these cylindrical containers. I'm surprised I was able to say that without stuttering. It's like when I try to say entrepreneurial, you know, it's like sometimes I can't do it, you know, because you're tired, your mouth just doesn't want to cooperate with you, you know what you want to say, but your mouth just says something else, or you fully massacre the word, and it's like, that's when I'm like, I'm sorry guys, I'm tired. I'm trying to enunciate and speak clearly for you guys, you know? But, so she made the tea, and then she went to hand me the thing, and she was, you can probably take this up there, because like, she's just gonna bark at me, and I said, no, why don't you go do it? Because like, obviously, like, you need, like, I could, but you need time with her, obviously, like, you know, I know that, yeah, she barked at you a little bit down here, but go up there and just give it to her, and, you know, she's like, alright, you know, she goes up the stairs, and, you know, I guess they didn't really talk, she gave it to her, and said, alright, cool, thanks, and then she came back downstairs, and that was quick. But then, like, you know, I guess at one point Allie came back down when she was, when my wife was still working on the tea, and she came down and was then gonna go back upstairs. Like, Allie, are you okay? And she, you know, she didn't say anything. And she's like, I'm just trying to help you, honey. And she's like, you know, got upset because of course she's like, I'm sorry, my hand being burned by hot water and getting smacked in the face by the door, you know, and it hurts. She went upstairs, and I'm like, yeah, but you know, it doesn't mean you gotta bite our heads off. But like I said, like, she's very fiery, just like her mother. But at the same time, then flip-flop that, if she's in a really good mood, she's very quiet, you know. So it's like, she's one of those, like, definitely if it was anybody outside the family, like friend-wise or whatever, it'd be like, you know, I wouldn't want to piss her off because, you know, yeah. So it was interesting though, but then by the time I left, you know, my wife had gone back up there, and she was sitting in that game room where my daughter and my grandson were, and she was sitting there they're just chatting. So I was like, there's times where I'm just like, actually, let me see here, hold on. Just realized looking at my phone, I'm like, I better plug in, because I just looked at my battery and go, no, I'm down there. It says I have till 7, which is like an hour, but it doesn't show percentage while using the phone for anything, you know, but so I figure better get it plugged in, otherwise I've had episodes where I'm recording with you guys, and all of a sudden, powering down, shit! That's like crap, alright. So, but, you know, that's why my goal with these real talk episodes has always been to basically just keep it real with you guys. You know, I don't come out here with a script. I don't have something pre-written. But one other thing that if you guys drop me a line at blogdishowpodcast@gmail.com, what do you think? One of the things about for the real talk episodes that I've been, the real talk episodes, I think I just said real tech. Again, I'm tired, guys, but one of the things I thought about with these real talk episodes would be actually having certain topics that I would discuss, like, you know, true crime stuff, or stuff like shipwrecks. I actually really like true crime stuff. I think I could probably come up, maybe research a random one kind of true crime stuff I kind of lean towards that I don't know. It's something that I think I would probably, maybe I would lean into that, would be cold case stories and cold cases around America, or whatever, that have been, they went cold, they're like, they don't know who the killer is or whatever, and it's been like 20, 30, 40 years, and I know there's a lot of podcasts out there that will end up talking about stuff like that, but I've always thought, I wonder if I could, or just coming up with other topics too, like, I don't know. This is me thinking out loud to you guys, me going, okay, what should I do? I wonder. So, if you guys have a suggestion, just something you think, a route you think I should go, that you think would make these Real Talk episodes more entertaining, that maybe you think that going that route, maybe you would actually attract more listeners, then definitely let me know. Drop me a line, blodgetshowpodcast@gmail.com, or go to blodgetshow.com, click the contact button, and that'll, that way you don't have to remember the email from just hearing it on this episode. You can actually just go to the website. You'll see down there. So, but anyway, guys, on that note, there'll be a couple links, as always, on the show notes. I have this app called Social Good that I've been on for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. It's pretty damn awesome. Like, basically, they have their own crypto coin called SG for Social Good. It's actually on exchanges, so the coin has actual value to it, and it's constantly going up. I think when I got the app, you get $100 worth of their coin just for downloading the app, and then when you do like your identity, where you take a picture of your license, take a selfie, whatever, you verify your identity, you get another $100 worth of their coin. It's funny, I just got another seatbelt violation, and I'm like, I'm wearing my seatbelt, so you get fucked up. But some of the times when the camera does that, I literally just for giggles, shits and grins, because since I know sounds like my boss is checking those every day to make sure that we're wearing our seatbelt. There's been a couple of times seatbelt violation. I said, "Hey, Jimmy." And I'll laugh. He'd be like, "Oh, I saw you said hey to me on camera." I was like, "Yep, I did." But everything I do, I make sure that I'm not holding the phone in my hand. I got my headset on if I'm doing anything with it, So both hands are still on the wheel at all times. So I ain't doing anything I get in trouble for. I heard one driver got suspended for 2 weeks because sounds like he I guess he activated the camera, so FedEx actually saw him, not just the company we drive for. But he was texting. He's one of those texters that had the phone up in front of his face, and I guess he had taken his other hand off the wheel as well, was texting with 2 hands, so basically FedEx saw no hands on the wheel and both hands on the phone, so not a good thing. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, how stupid can you be? That's like, you should know better. Like, even if you do try to do anything while you're on the move, you don't want to take both hands off the wheel, and you don't want to be looking away from the road. Like, that's why I love voice clips, because it's easy to hit record and record a voice clip and then hit send, and you're not actively holding the phone. You're literally just tap record, tap send, you're good, and then they send a voice clip back. But the app is free to download, and like I said, you get $100 free SG crypto coin for downloading the app, $100 free crypto SG for verifying your identity, and then basically referrals have been really easy. Like, because it's free and because we're getting free crypto that's actually worth something. It's basically like the way I try to explain it is like, how many of you out there wish that you would have actually been able to get involved in the game when like, you know, you were aware of where Bitcoin was going to go back when it first started. Like, I didn't even know about it when it started. I think I was out here over the road when Bitcoin came into existence, but I had no idea. Like, but I was on Facebook, but you didn't really see anybody, hey, look at this Bitcoin, whatever, you know, it's worth this much per, and it's actually, it has value to it, whatever. I might have been like, fuck it, you know, like, if I heard, like, if somebody presented it to me and said, hey, this coin is probably going to be worth something someday, you know, and it was like, even if it was like $1 a coin, I might have been like, give me like, you know, give me like 500 coins or whatever. And, you know, it's been $500 to get bits. It's like 500 Bitcoin, and now it's like 60K. So you figure 500 times 60,000. It's a lot of money. But looking back, I'm like, I wish I knew. Like, when I learned about it, somebody told me about Bitcoin when it was like 10 grand. And even then, like, I don't know if I could have bought the full Bitcoin, but I could have probably gotten like half of one over the course of however long. But now it's 60 grand. I'm like, well, you know. But, you know, if you're like me and you look back and go, I really wish I would have not missed the boat on that one. This coin, SG, is consistently going up pretty much every day. Like, they have a lot of videos. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because I don't want to, you know, run this episode too long for you guys. I want you guys to be able to, you know, just check it out. But I'm going to have the link in the show notes, but basically if you go to lodgeshow.com/crypto, that will redirect you to, basically it'll direct you to go ahead and download the app. You'll get your $100 free. There are some restrictions as far as like withdrawal. Like, you're not able to withdraw it right away. They have it set up where you'll be able to withdraw small amounts, but you use the app to basically, they have shops, online stores that you would normally shop at anyway, and, you know, if you use the app to play games, to order stuff online through like Walmart, Sam's Club, Temu, Shein, a lot of those places. I mean, you can order. There's like travel sites. You can pay for travel stuff, and you're getting cash back anytime in the form of their coin. Anytime you order on those sites, like, they verify that your order is placed and shipped, and you're not going to cancel, obviously. And then you receive, like, some of them it's like 100% cash back. So let's say you spend $100 at, like, Walmart, for instance, you get $100 worth of coins, which is like 800 coins roughly. Some of them are like 1,000% cash back. Like, I ordered Temu, I think I spent $10. I got like $150 worth of, or at least $100-something worth of their coins. I was like, well, that's cool. That's pretty awesome. So, but basically, the more active you are on the app, they start to like they loosen up the restrictions as far as like the withdrawals. You know, that's their way. And then as people order on these other sites, the social good company, they make advertising revenue from those companies, and they're using that advertising revenue to buy back coins out the market. And that keeps that helps the coins continue to go up in value, because then they're giving us the coins again for like the cash back and stuff. So go check out the app, lodgeshow.com/crypto, or, you know, if you want to look up the show notes, they'll have the link on there too. And they have videos explaining everything on how they do things, why they do things, and, you know. But aside from that, anybody who wants to learn how to become a digital marketer and be part of our community, have step-by-step video training, go to lodgeshow.com/freedom, and I'll go ahead and throw out those links for the other podcasts, even though I'm going to have those in the show notes. But Meredith For Real, the Curious Introvert, I don't have the link for that one, but that's in the show. That'll be in the show notes. But the Crime Junkies, I believe that one's crimejunkiepodcast.com. What was that like? Actually, the Meredith For Real, I think that one's literally meredithforreal.com, I believe. But what was that like? podcast with Scott. I believe that is literally whatwasthatlike.com. But those will be in the show notes. You guys can go check those out. If you end up liking them, feel free to let them know where you heard about their show, because I know that some shows actually end up growing based on, or because of, end up connecting with other shows, or they interview with those shows, or whatever. I don't reach out to them because I don't want to, it's not what, as a podcast host, I'm not going to be like, hey, I want the connections. Hey, can I interview on your show? And, gain traction that way. Like, I would rather them kind of find me and be like, your show, I really like your show. I'm gonna tell people about you. Okay, cool. So feel free to tell your friends, like and follow, give 5-star rating if you're willing to. Anybody who wants, if you want to financially support the show and make things good, because I know, like, obviously the hosting definitely costs and all that fun stuff. And I know right now, literally as I'm recording this, I know I got to go on my hosting platform and pay the bill because that's temporarily suspended currently. You know how it is, paying bills or whatever. And, like, I'm out here doing what I got to do and working on things on the side, like the podcast and the entrepreneurial stuff, with the intent to be able to get myself off the road, literally work from home full time. So that's why I mentioned at the beginning, anybody, if any podcast hosts that are, you have a big show and you're really successful and you can give pointers on what somebody with a small show like myself, what I can do to work on growing it and start, bringing in, revenue for the show, whatever. That'll be put me moving in the direction that I want to go, to eventually basically be full-time podcast hosts, and you guys would never have to miss a Storytime Friday episode again, because I would have plenty of time to get everything done. So that's one of the things that I had a business opportunity that I was talking to a guy about. He was asking me, he was like, so like what are you after? Like, why are you looking to do such and such? Are you looking for, like, because of time freedom or financial freedom? I said, a little bit both. I said, I want time freedom because right now I don't really have a whole lot of free time. I said, literally my job keeps me running, and I get home, I sleep, I get up, I come back to work. Because you work 14 to 16 hour days, you get home, you take you barely get your 10 hours off, which includes your time you're sleeping. And then you get up, try to hang out with the family as much as possible, go back to work. I said financial freedom because I want to be able to do what I want to do, like take vacations with the fam, make memories, not miss out, basically just actually make memories and enjoy life, which is something we do what we can right now, but because of money and time, we don't basically travel a whole lot. And we've been married for 18 years, and yet we're still not in a house or whatever. So it's one of those things. I'm working. There's big goals that I have that I'm working towards for us, trying to get us there. And so any suggestions on like things I can do to move in the right direction with this show, I'd appreciate it. Again, blogtheshowpodcast@gmail.com. Anybody who wants to support the show through donations, I appreciate it. Go to blogtheshow.com/supports. But on that note, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I will do my best to try to get the other part of that last story written, so that I can get it recorded for Friday. At the very least, I'll try to keep up with what I'm currently doing with the Real Talk on Tuesday, and then having a bonus episode on Friday if I'm not able to get the story written. I am doing my best. I'm trying to keep it together. You know how it is. Like dealing with stresses from work or whatever, dealing with mental health issues because of being like overworked and just tired all the time. So I'm doing my best, trying to do what I can. But anyways, just want you guys to know I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate anybody that goes to the blogtheshow.com/support and financially supports. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Anybody who does who's willing to do a 5-star rating, on any of the platforms, I appreciate you guys as well. And anybody who reaches out to me through the email, again, blogdashowpodcast@gmail.com, with any of the questions I asked, or if you have anybody with the recommendations as far as how to grow a podcast and actually like monetize it, make it better, make it bigger. Hell, I've even thought about some of the things that I noticed with like Crime Junkie, for instance. I noticed like their different social media profiles and stuff like that, and I'm like, I didn't even think about that because I have my regular, I have my profiles, but I don't have one specifically for the Blogger Show. I have just my main ones. You guys can find me on Instagram and Facebook, TN Trucker Chris. I believe TikTok, I'm TN Trucker Chris as well. YouTube, literally at Christopher Blodgett. I think that off the top of my head, I think that's pretty much all the main ones. But on that note, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Sorry it's a little bit long-winded, and again, like, I'd love to know what you guys think about my ideas about maybe having a co-host for the World Talk Tuesday episodes, or maybe if it's just me having certain topics, like going into like true crime topics that we do real talk on, like what we think about it, do we believe it's such and such, let me know, like if you guys have any suggestions on that and stuff. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Keep being awesome. You know what I always say, keep pushing forward, keep believing, believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there, and then you just have to go out there and do it. But on that note, you guys keep being awesome. I appreciate you, and we'll talk to you next time. Have a good one.